finish up um, our conversation. And my bonus for everybody over the next 5 weeks is that I'm actually going to be delivering something every night. And so I only have 3 people scheduled every night. But besides and after the night, I'll be delivering, and everything kind of stacks on each other. So you want to tune in, you want to bring your people in, you want to get the information that's needed, and try to put it together. So um, today I'm going to be talking about the highest version of me, becoming the individual that makes a thriving relationship. So here's the thing that happens. We want to try to get our relationship to be better. And the way that we try to get our relationship to be better is we focus on the other person, or we focus on the relationship. At that point in time, we already are going to be headed down the wrong direction. And so what does it take? Well, the first step to me is for us to be performing at a high level. The cool thing is we're never really done, right? The cool thing is we can grow and grow and grow, and only get better for our partner, so that our partner has somebody else. Okay. So this message, or part of this message, I adopted, but it was delivered to me, but it was more about entrepreneur and more uh, about, excuse me, about God. Um, and the way that I interpret it and how I allow it to grow me is what I want to be able to give to you guys. Okay. So, be, do, have. The concept of be, do, have is really important. A lot of times, and this is what I just talked about. A lot of times we try to have the relationship that we want, and we try to get people in the relationship to do certain things, but we haven't messed with our being. We haven't talked about and started working on, who am I being? What am I actually doing to, or what am I actually becoming in order to do the things that I need to do and have the things that I want to have? Whatever you are is what you end up with, right? So whatever you are will be the things that you do, and whatever the things that you do is, you will have. All right. So we can talk about what you need to do or have. If you don't, we can't talk um, about what you need to do or have if you don't understand how to get to the being aspect of you. So the next few days we will talk about trying to do other things and have a different kind of relationship, but being's the start of it. All right. So stick with me. I'm going to challenge you guys on something. Usually, the thing is, when concepts are introduced to us, we might automatically reject them. And there's a reason that we automatically reject them. It's because everything that we've known and have done in our lives, we want to stick with it. And so it kind of feels foreign. It makes sense. I've done it. We'll all do it at some rate. If you're asking to raise to a different level and something gets introduced to you, check it out. Okay. And so that's what we're going to do today. All right. So there's 3 things that we need to be able to understand if we're going to establish the higher version of ourselves. So there's concepts that everybody has heard about: body, mind, and spirit. We'll be referring to the spirit part as essence, and you'll understand why in a second. So what we're conscious of when it comes to our body is we're conscious of all the physical world, right? So our senses informs our consciousness, and it's formed by a biological level. And the reason I'm saying formed is going to be important, so pay attention to that. The second thing that we know about is our mind, and our mind is made up actually of our conscious and our subconscious, and is formed by our sociological experience, meaning like how our families treated us, the different circumstances that we had. It's formed by all of those things. What happens a lot of times, we have something called a blueprint. What happens is our experiences start giving us a destination. So for instance, if in my case, if I watched all my life parents getting divorced or having a hard time with a relationship, the tendency would be that I would automatically go to that, or I know the routes to get to that, right? So our blueprints inside of us help to inform what our next action will be. So our subconscious is formed by our sociological, the things that we are experiencing in life. Okay. Finally, our essence is informed by our God consciousness, right? So it's a higher way of being. it's created by God. So notice I said form, created, right? And that's a really important piece for us to know, because at our essence level is actually where the highest version of us is. So we need to understand that. If you have to go back, if you're watching a replay or whenever you guys get a chance to see the replay again, go back and revisit that. So what's keeping us stuck? If our goal is to get from the idea that says, look, I can actually be at a better place if I can just pay more attention to the essence of me. What keeps us stuck in the place that we're in? Well, what keeps us stuck is there's three mirrors. One mirror is the physical mirror. So sometimes we'll look at the things that we don't have with our bodies or our minds or our physical ability, and we'll think, or the things that we do have that are causing a problem, and we'll think, man, that's going to stop me, or that's going to keep me from being who I need to be, right? Or another mirror that we look at is our circumstance. We'll stare at, oh man, I wasn't raised a certain way, so I won't have this, or I'm this culture, so I'm going to have this scenario, right? Or somehow I don't have this kind of situation, and so I can't do X, Y, and Z, right? We'll start looking at those things and allowing that to put us in a place of being stuck as a person. And then the final thing is the opinions of others. So a lot of times the circle around us keeps us stuck just because of what we think they might be saying or what they have said in the past. Okay, so let me put everything together for us just to catch up and make sure that we're in the right spot right now. What we're saying is that there's a higher level of you, and a higher level of you happens at your essence level. The hardest thing about getting to the essence level is we pay more attention to the body and the mind that are formed in this world than we do paying attention to our essence that will help us actually exceed our expectations as a partner in our relationship, right? I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. So kind of going on what I just described right now, the formation of lack, powerless, and doubt keep us stuck. And where do those things come from? Well, they come from our mirrors, but they also come from our experiences. Sometimes whenever we've had hard experiences, we don't really believe that we can have something else. If you haven't watched successful relationships, or if somebody who you're dating or in a relationship with is difficult to deal with, you start thinking that those are the things that actually create who you are, right? And we already talked about that's not going to be able to create you. If you allow it, it might form you, but it won't create you. And so us just staring at things like lack and powerlessness and doubt, those things actually keep us stuck, right? And then the development of a destructive I am. And what does that mean? Whenever you start saying I am not enough, or I am a horrible person, or I am broke, or I am powerless, or I am anything that's a destructive I am, it starts keeping you in a certain spot that doesn't allow you to elevate yourself as a partner in your relationship, right? So a lot of times in our relationships, the thing that our relationship is waiting for us to do is just become something else, right? We teach everybody how to treat us by the way that we treat ourselves and by the way we know about ourselves. So if we haven't got to a place of believing that we should be respectable or believing that we should be lovable, it's going to be really hard for our partners to do that. So this idea that we are stuck, I want you guys to be able to go back and rewatch that, because it's an important piece for us to understand where am I at stopping wise? What's stopping me? What's keeping me stuck? All right, so how do I start being the person that I need to actually be, right? The first thing that you have to do is you need to know and listen to your essence. You have to be willing to open your mind up and see more about who you are at your essence. And so I always think about my 1.5-year-old, like he is so energetic, so enthusiastic, so ambitious. He's able to bounce back from thing to thing, whether it's happiness or sadness or whatever it is. He just constantly is moving. And I look at him, I'm like, that's the essence of who we are. And as a parent, I might structure that or try to, figure out how to keep him safe. But the truth is he's got it. right? And so that's actually all inside of all of us. And the more we realize we have uncovering to do, we'll understand that we are already what we need to be, right? The more you study and search for the answer to who am I, the more that you'll find it. It's a lot of times something that we're not looking for because we're usually defined based on the body and the mind experience. So you have to challenge yourself to really start searching. The third thing is side with abundance, limitless, and confidence. So too many times we start thinking about the things that say I won't be able to or I can't because of. And if you can start saying like I can have anything that I want, nothing's going to stop me but me. And I believe in the things that I need to be doing to get to those places, right? The more you start siding with abundance, limitlessness, and confidence, you're going to be in the spaces that you need to be, and you're on your way to becoming and revealing who it is that you are. I believe and kind of know in myself that we're all kings and queens at some rate, and we just need to act like it. And the more we act like it, we live amongst kings and queens. And so challenge yourself to be that so that your partner has a king or a queen that they're living with. The last thing you have to do is you have to believe it and be it. So even if you don't believe, man, I'm a king, Thomas, I don't believe that. That's hard for me to believe that. I'm a queen. I don't believe that. It's hard for me to believe that. I just need you to start acting like it. I just need you to start being that before you even believe it then, right? So once you start acting like it and moving that way, you'll see how everything switches for you. And again, it's not like you have to go get this from the store. This is already inside of you. You just need to tap in and start revealing. Everybody else put their hurt and all the challenges that they have in life and all the doubt that they have in life on top of you. And you thought you were their things and their pain. You're not their things and their pain. You're limitless. You're everything that you need to be. So the more you can realize, I just need to reveal me. I need to reveal me. And don't let the outside things or those mirrors that we talked about be in your way. You're going to start becoming. You're going to be who you need to be. All right. So what is your homework? What is the homework? Well, the homework is a couple of things that I think will really benefit you. One is shut down and shut off all the things in your life that focus on lack, limitation, and uncertainty. If you watch the news or if you've been watching the news, sometimes I'll go to my barbershop and we'll have the news on. And it just amazes me because I don't watch it as often, how much of a difficult influence and scenario that it is. And I'm like, man, this is why I don't watch the news, because it talks about all the hardship that is happening and it focuses on that, and it could get our mind and wear on us and get us to start thinking that, man, this is how life is when it's a snippet in just a moment of something, right? And so if you can shut down and shut off all those things in your life, or as many of those things as possible, you're going to create a good experience for yourself. The next thing that I would say is to pair I am statements with abundance and limitlessness and certainty. If you could do that daily, that practice that you do is going to be helpful to developing a different kind of concept and revealing who you are at your essence. When you start operating with your essence inside of your relationship, your partner doesn't have a chance but to level up, or have no other sense but to level up, right? A lot of our hardships in our relationships are because we don't feel well about ourselves. And so we're creating something for somebody else, like an insecurity or a hardship for them, or we're not able to receive what it is that we need to receive because we don't feel worthy of those things. You have to start with understanding that at your essence, you are royalty. You deserve to have a good relationship. And just because you experience something hard in your life, or you've only seen hard things happen, doesn't mean that's your destination. Where you're going, sometimes you can't see until you're willing to uncover everything that's been put on top of you through somebody else's hurt and pain. That's the starting point of being able to get to a different relationship. And in order for us to do it well, you have to be willing to spend time there. There's no way of getting around forming the highest version of yourself. I appreciate you guys spending some time with us. I look forward to our next 4 days that we have. Thank you guys for coming in and supporting us. We'll talk to you soon.